I'm gonna send you the three questions we asked, so you can kind of what was do you like everyone's history and you remember your listeners are kids. What about your listeners? They want to know. You might ask for your history, whatever history you find it. You can say our ustads on both Tarab.
The second hand from the floor. This is the second.
Oh, thank you.
He was so scared to even say the answer's right. I was just telling them that it was in Usul al-Shashira around the end, and that you mentioned that Ibn Usul was asked a question on nikah. He said, give me.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد So, quick recap on our last sitting, last discourse was with regards to Sunnah, Quran and Sunnah. If there's one Quran, one Sunnah, one Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, why are there different madhahib, different methodologies, different groups? And we mentioned many incidents, and one of the footnotes we read was about Mufti Sahib and his colleague who gave some points, and they were very interesting. And here, as you can see on the footnote, it's going to shortly come on the screen. A friend of mine, a graduate of university in Medina, Munawwara, summed up the answer as follows: assuming we agree to abandon the madhabs, then what is the alternate solution? So let's all forget following a madhab and we take our own path. Okay? What is this madhab about? We should be following directly from Quran, directly from hadith, authentic ahadith. What are these imams about? What are these madhabs are about? No. So, what should we do? Then if it is to adopt tarjih, by taking the strongest view, some people will come and say, let's follow the strongest view. So, these madhahibs, sometimes they will say, you're following an imam, you're following a school of thought. A lot of these things, they're not so authentic. There's opinions, some of the opinions you follow, not so authentic. Then, who will decide which is the strongest view? Whose task is it to determine the strongest view? So, will your friend, will yourself, their teachers, your teachers, these graduates, these ulama, scholars, or other scholars, who will then decide what is the strongest view? How do you go about determining the strongest view? So then in terms of strongest view, how do you come to the conclusion this is the strongest view? So for example, these scholars might say, or your friends scholars might say, this is the strongest view, and we use these ahadith, they're very strong. And some other scholars, your teachers, the scholars you follow, might say, this is the strongest view, a different one. These are the hadiths we follow, right? So they will say their hadith, they're following the hadith, the sayings and the teachings and actions of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These ahadith are much more strong. They're stronger, and they will say this is stronger. Now, who will decide which is stronger? Okay, there'll be then difference there. And then, will the person entrusted with the task to be qualified and capable for determining that person who will now determine this is the strongest view, follow this, don't follow this sunnah is authentic. So are they even capable? The people who your friends are following, or others are following, or you're following, are they capable to tell you this is the strongest view, this is how we came to the conclusion? Right? So then, between the groups, who do you decide? You'll go on for years deciding to coming to a conclusion. If it is interested upon one or more persons and people are expected to follow them, then is this not taqleed? So if they say, do you know what, actually we'll follow this group, or my scholars, my teachers, then this is taqleed. In the end, you've done taqleed, you followed someone without coming to the conclusion, or without knowing the evidences at first hand from the base, because you don't have the knowledge. If it is left to every individual, then wouldn't that result in more conflict and hundreds of schools of thought instead of only 4? If everyone went about, no brother, don't go directly to Quran, no brother, you shouldn't be following a madhab and imam, you should follow Quran and Sunnah, the authentic ahadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then everyone will decide, this group will decide which ahadith, which scholars they take, which opinion he takes, Another person would decide, this is the few scholars I'll take, this is the opinion I'll take, right? If this is the methodology we're going to follow, the concept, then there'll be so many madhabs, right? So is this the way to go? No. Then is it not better than stick to 4, only 4, and this is the opinions would not be scattered so much? Okay, so this is a very valid point mentioned there. Today, this lesson is about, can all 4 schools of jurisprudence be correct concurrently? All 4 at once, can they be correct? If Imam Shafi'i says one thing, Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah says one thing, Imam Malik rahimahullah says one thing, page 28 here. Yeah, page 28. So page 28, can all 4 schools of jurisprudence be correct concurrently? All at once, can they be correct? So someone follows Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, his methodology, his school of thought, his students, and someone else follows Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah and his students, his books. Someone else follows Imam Malik rahimahullah and his students, and someone else follows Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal rahimahullah and his students. Can everyone be correct? Is it fine? Is that correct? Whether each opinion of every madhab may be the correct one which was ordained by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at one and the same time has been a point of contention amongst the scholars. So each opinion, is it correct? Can all of it be correct at once? So scholars differ. All of them are correct? No. Some are correct, one's correct and other are wrong. This opinion is correct, the other imam's opinion is incorrect. However, they are unanimous that all 4 madahib are simultaneously acceptable as far as the Sharia is concerned. They're saying, in terms of following the madhab, the followers of the imams, the different opinions, whoever follows them is unanimous. Everyone, all the scholars say unanimously, this is fine, this is correct. You'll be rewarded for following them. Right? This is correct. So first they said, in terms of all the imams, say so 4 imams have 4 different opinions. Someone says, this thing you do will break wudu. Laughing loudly will break your wudu. 2 imams say this. And 2 imams say, laughing loudly in namaz will break your salah, but will not break your wudu. So, can both opinions be correct? Some scholars say both opinions of the imams correct, and some scholars say no, one is incorrect, he'll be rewarded. One is correct, and he'll get double reward. Right? So one has to be incorrect, and one is definitely correct. Well, everyone, all the scholars, unanimously, all together, agree that whoever follows them, these imams, their opinions, then you will be rewarded. So they're given very interesting example. To illustrate this, an example is given of 5 people who are traveling on a cloudy day. So they are traveling, it's very cloudy. One of the companions happens to be blind. So someone is blind now. At the approach of the time of a certain salah, they find themselves in a jungle. 4 of them begin to discuss the direction of the Qibla, and each one arrives at a totally different conclusion and performs his salah accordingly. So for now, the mas'ala is, when someone goes somewhere and they don't know the direction of Qibla, they don't have a phone, any compass, any people, local people, to ask about the Qibla, you do tahari. Tahari, take a very mindful guess, and then you go by that, what's in your heart, okay? So these 4 people, 5 people, sorry, they went. From the 5, one is blind. The other 4, they can of course look around, check some signs, and they take a mindful guess. And all 4 come to a different conclusion. One says north, other says east, south, west. So different directions. They pray, they take mindful guesses. But the blind person, what does he do? The blind man, however, is unable to take part in the discussion, but since he considers one of the four more knowledgeable and experienced in this regard, he follows him. So the blind man thinks, I can't see, but from the four, my opinion is his most knowledgeable. I will follow this person, his opinion, whichever direction he's praying towards, I will just follow him. I trust him more. Okay, so he follows him because he thinks he's more knowledgeable and he's content. So he follows him. Whilst only one is right, the salah of each of the five is in perfect order. So, of course, one will be correct. The Qibla direction, is it all four or is it one? One direction. The four people who gathered, they're praying in four directions, right? So you gathered in Rawda, and no one knew, and there was no one to ask, right? 5 of you are gathered in Rawda, and you're praying, and you didn't know, there's no sign, no one to ask, you don't have no phone, nothing. Praying Rawda, and you take mindful guesses. 4 can take mindful guesses, and 1 is blind, so he can follow one of them, right? So 4 of your colleagues who can see, take mindful guess, praying this way, forward, 1 prays to the right, 1 prays that way, 1 prays this way. So can all 4 be correct, or is the Qibla, or is one of them correct who's facing towards the front, towards the Qibla? One of them, right? The person, facing this way. So, but whoever he follows, he can't see though, can he? And because they took mindful guesses, their salah, their prayer will be accepted. If you take a mindful guess, you don't know where you are, you take a mindful guess, and you pray whichever direction, and you didn't know, then your salah will be correct. But in reality, the Qibla is that way, isn't it? That's the correct answer. That's the correct, judgment. Now, both the blind person, he follows one of them, and whichever he follows, that's fine, that's correct. Whilst only one is right, the salah of each of the 5 is in perfect order. It will not be necessary for the rest of them to repeat it later when the clouds have cleared and they were able to distinguish whose direction was the correct one. Now later on they find out, oh yeah, this is, by looking at the sun, etc., they can now see this way is Qibla. We were wrong and he was right. No, they don't need to repeat the salah. Everyone's salah is correct, although they know, oh yeah, one person pray the right way. Well, everyone's salah is correct. The example of the 4 people is like that of the 4 imams. The 5th person who is blind is like the follower, the muqallid, the blind follower who follows a imam, a madhab. He is the muqallid. Muqallid, he follows, blindly follows, who does not possess the qualifications to perform ijtihad and therefore follows one of the 4 imams. But the blind person, he's like that person who has not got that knowledge, and he blindly follows someone else, some imam. He's like that blind person who has followed someone else in their direction. Understood? So that's a very good example, and his prayer will be correct, and whoever he follows, their prayer will be also correct. Now, this explanation is deduced from following a hadith. That person who's a mujtahid, who can derive masail from Quran and hadith and use his thinking and analyze and come to a judgment, he'll be rewarded. That's based on hadith, and whoever follows him will also be rewarded. Now there's hadith to back this statement, that when a ruler ijtihad to derive masail from Quran and hadith, he's got so much knowledge, and then he makes a judgment, he gives a fatwa, and he arrives at the correct answer, he'll get double reward. One for performing ijtihad, this analysis and coming to the judgment, and other for extracting a correct ruling of Sharia, other for the correct mas'ala, correct answer he gave. So double reward. If on the other hand, he erred, he made a mistake, he was incorrect, then he receives only one reward for his ijtihad, and he'll be excused for his error. But if he's made a mistake, he still will get reward. Reward for making a judgment that no, this Imam, he lived over there, and he gained, knowledge from these people, and it looks like he's more closer to Sunnah. Follow this Imam, you'll be more closer to Sunnah, you'll get more reward. It's as if, our rewards will be different. We'll get more reward following a different Imam. No, you follow the Imams who the scholars throughout the years have said, they are the greatest scholars in their time, and everyone, because these Imams, 4 Imams, were Imams every, era, century, scholars have said these were the 4 greatest Imams. After the Sahaba and the students, these 4 came, and they were, excellent in their knowledge, piety, etc. They were people to be followed, and scholars and the general people,